Welcome, everyone, to this special fireside chat. We're honored to have the extraordinary artist, Dr. Joyce J. Scott, and the talented filmmaker, Sean Yoes, here with us today. Everybody can clap. Yes. So, we are celebrating the film Relentless, a powerful documentary that captures the essence of Joyce's remarkable life and work. This event is part of Collectively's 28 Days of Black Futures, a celebration of Black visionaries. So first, Joyce, I want to read a quote about your work from, you ready? Okay. The idea of enslaving someone, taking them from their homeland, putting them through a process called the Middle Passage, which is storing them like beans and tobacco, and rice and seeds and livestock in the hulls of ships, and transporting them to a new location, trying to rob them of their humanity and identity, the rupture, to people's lives has been a compelling point of reference for African American artists. To pick those pieces up and try to reconnect them, or knit them, or reconfigure, revision what that experience was about. Joyce does it through her beads. It is a process of humility to watch a person craft something from small, beautiful things into a large, important, magnificent statement. Craft becomes the ethic upon which our work, the work that we do as human beings, makes a difference in our world. In the African American tradition, what we are really commenting on when we embrace the craft, the hand, what we are talking about is the American tradition. This is an American story. This is how America was built, was constructed, has become what it is today, and should become so much more. Because we must go back and reclaim the things that made this country what it was. And it was the craft tradition and the African American story must stand alongside of the Native American stories, the Latino stories, the Asian stories, all of the stories of the peoples. And those stories then mirror and reflect back to all of the other stories that come from the ancestral traditions of all of the global cultures. So for me, craft is the center of all things. So that was from Dr. Leslie King Hammond. So I appreciate you both being here today. And I'm gonna start off with a question that I always ask everyone that I'm interviewing. Where are you from? Where are your roots? And where are your people from? So you wanna go first, Sean?
Mike check. I'm from West Baltimore, and that's about it.
Okay. Thank you.
Mondawmin,
Thank you
to
very
be
much.
specific.
Thank you. I appreciate that. What high school did you go to?
Walbrook High School.
Thank you.
Did you not have parents?
I had great
He said just West Baltimore. I respect that.
Oh, you asked about my parents?
I said, where are you from? Where are your roots?
My roots are West Baltimore.
Where are your people from?
My people are from West Baltimore.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you. Joyce, would you like to answer this question for me?
Well, I am a Sandtown girl, but my parents were sharecroppers in North and South Carolina. My mother picked cotton and my father picked tobacco. And I bet if we just had a little more DNA tracing, we'd find out that you have some other Southern roots as well.
Probably.
My grandmother's people are from North Carolina.
Thank you.
Is that what y'all wanted? Is that what y'all wanted?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Roxborough, North
Now
Carolina.
he's going to tell the town. Now he's going to tell you the street in Roxborough. Okay.
So, Joyce, the title of the film Relentless, which we watched upstairs, speaks to your dedication. Where does that drive come from? And actually, where did the title come from? Whose decision was that?
Mine. Well, look at her. When you watch her work, her pursuit of her art is relentless. Her intelligence, her intellect, is moving at a kinetic pace. If you look at her threading beads and the way she puts these beads together to create these magnificent pieces of artwork, it's genius at work, obviously. she talks about it as she's doing it. She talks about pointillism. Yeah, I mean, Andre was like, "Oh shit!" I mean, when she said that, because I mean, it just for her to be doing the work and to just speak on it the way she was in our midst as we're just asking her questions. It was remarkable to see, and the only word that came to my mind was relentless.
What motivates you to make your work?
You know, I tell people that I was an artist in utero because of the generational line of artists that come on both sides of my family, but the ones who are predominant are really on my mother's side of the family. They used to believe only your hair color and height or that kind of thing could be passed through DNA, but now they know that there are a lot of just wonderful, internal feelings that also come through that. I also find that it is my best voice. I'm not a preacher, I'm not a politician, I'm not a lawyer. But my bully pulpit is as a visual and performing artist. You know, some people think that artists come from art communities and art families, and everybody's an artist, and they eat art food, and they wear art clothing, and that's it. But the truth is we live just as everybody else does with the same issues that confound us and that propel us. So the way that I can talk about the things that deeply bruise me and that make me incredibly happy is via my visual work.
Sean, your background is journalism as well as filmmaking. So how did those skills kind of converge in the making of this film?
So even as a journalist, and even before I ever became a journalist, I always saw stories in a visual way. I mean, that was something that's how I saw stories. And the first documentary I ever made, me and Andre made, came from a story about black farmers in Arkansas. I've been going back and forth, driving back and forth to Arkansas to cover this story. It was the first story I ever got an award for. And I said to Andre, who is a world-class photographer, who's been nominated for Pulitzers and won Polk Awards, I said to him, I said, man, let's go make a movie about these farmers. And he said, no. So I kept after him, and eventually he said yes, and we went and we shot this film. And there are people talking about the issue of black farmers today, 20 some odd, almost 30 years later. So I've always seen journalism in kind of in a visual way, and I just after a while it just got to the point where that's the way I wanted to tell stories.
So I'm just curious about how this came to be. Where did this start? And how did y'all meet?
Joyce was the only person that I had not met before. I knew.
Met in a bar on Pennsylvania Avenue. I would wear a blonde wig, and he. Oh, I'm sorry.
You remember now, though.
Now you remember. You was there, Chung. I don't know why you trying.
You said- So how it actually began was Jamie from Collectively, Jamie Wooten from Collectively bestowed the honor of me being the Distinguished Journalism in Residence in 2024. And what I said to him, I said, man, I'll make 4 short films. I'll never do that again. Because when you think about it, Andre and I are both, we've been working together for a long time, but we're both really learning filmmaking. You know, we know journalism, and that's been our thing, but we're learning filmmaking. So when you say 4 short films, I was thinking, oh, they'll just be 10 minutes apiece, and it'll be, when you embark upon a journey to tell the stories of remarkable people like Joyce Scott and Billy Murphy and Jill Carter and the leaders of A Beautiful Struggle, these are remarkable, extraordinary people, and they're in all 4 films. If you they're all four very different films. So it was an arduous task, and we could have easily spent a year on each one of them individually, to be honest. But I went to Jamie, I said, look, we'll make these 4 films. And I have to say this as loudly as possible. He did not one time, not for 1 second, ever step into our creative process and try to demand us to do anything. He stepped back and he allowed the process to unfold organically, what we set out to do. And brother, I thank you so much. Or if you're in here somewhere, thank you so much for being a visionary and allowing us to do this. Because at the end of the day, when you talk about the theme of Baltimore's legacy of Black liberation, that's not just some esoteric, that's not just some pie in the sky title. That's a real perpetuation of a legacy of greatness that the world doesn't know about. And so it was incumbent upon us to tell that story. So that's how it started.
Do you want to add anything, Joyce?
Well, when you asked me earlier, why I make this art, he just hit on a touchstone for me, and that is that the environment in which I live, which we all lived in, is an environment that still radiates, it still has the throbbing of people in need, political, social, life, love, need, and for real change, and that the majority of people in Baltimore are African Americans, at least in the neighborhoods in which I live. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't have truck or conversations or what with whoever lives, but the point is that that kind of heat and heartbeat is very dependent upon the African American population. And it didn't just come from us being very, smart and happy. It came from some real urgency and pain and horror. And that stuff is what just propels me and forces me to do what I do, because for me, it's better out than in, as well as I think it also promotes change. These small conversations that we do promote change. Seeing me in my own home, talking trash, making actual artwork, and knowing that I am a MacArthur Fellow who's been self-employed since she was 24, and that has to do with me being a Baltimorean. That really is it. You saying that to others makes a difference, even if it is a 10-minute slot, which 40 or 50 should have been mine, but that's a whole other film.
Full-length feature next year, yes, if we get the funding. Yeah. Cool. So Joyce, I was so...
This is a whole Pennsylvania Avenue bit we didn't do.
Ooh, do you want to talk about the stuff anything that was left out of the film? Okay. All right. That's next year.
It looks very good in a blonde. That's a whole other story.
I was so excited to see your show at the Baltimore Museum of Art, and it traveled to the Seattle Art Museum. And if y'all go get this month's copy of Art Forum, there's a beautiful review with some really beautiful images of that show. So thank you. And I really enjoyed the moment in the film when you were talking about your mom. If you could kind of talk a little bit about just y'all's relationship and how that's affected your practice.
Well, my mother she told me that she wanted more kids, and she had miscarriages, and she always wanted to love someone unconditionally. And that's what she saw a mother and child relationship to be, and that is what we had. She was my first art teacher. She taught me beadwork when I was probably around 5. She and my father both were, when I say sharecroppers, we're talking about people who went to one-room schoolhouses. So they were really not very academically literate. And so that became my responsibility to take up the slack, which meant we had that kind of relationship too. And the fact that she loved me unconditionally. You see me now. You're on the stage. You're watching me, so you know what a trial that might have been.
Amen.
But the fact that he had to say that. So I'm gonna tell you about the drink he had at the no. But for her to be and my father to invest in me as this person, that's a lot. And she was the reason why I am this person is because I'm a true combination of both my parents, who were imps and rascals and just storytellers. And the best part of that is that my mother was an acclaimed within her heart, within our community, but my mother was such an artist that she gave me what I call my passport, which is the needle and thread. And with that, I have traveled the world. But with that, I became this artist, you know?
What's apparent to me in seeing Joyce's art, but being around her, is that she was unconditionally loved. Her parents poured tremendous, copious amounts of love into her. And she speaks about it in the film where she says she doesn't hear no. And that's another part of the relentless piece. Yeah. She's relentless because God and her parents loved her, right?
My community.
And the community.
I was raised by the village.
Exactly. So that
Not
what we
village,
no, Sandtown, Winchester.
Yeah.
What we see is that love expressed through her art and through her.
I would like to say that one of the things that I completely understand and know through my parents, through my community, through folks like you, is how they were superheroes. I make jokes about my mom really picking cotton and dragging a 500-pound bag, and I can't even know where my purse is. I just need to carry this for me. She's carrying a bag. When she picked cotton, I do cotton. I always try to buy the best 100% cotton garment. That's as close as I'm picking cotton. Yeah. These people were superheroes. And from that, with her lack of being able to read and write very well, and the fact that they took the long migration up because they didn't expect magic in America. They didn't expect to come to Maryland and then be Frio, and jumping around. They knew that they'd have a scintilla, a breath of freedom, and that for their children would make the difference. So they would sustain all kinds of horrors so that I could be on this stage right now talking trash to you. And we really are going to Pennsylvania Avenue. But talking trash to you, and they were superheroes because they made that happen. And they worked a trillion hours a day, and they took bad behavior, This, to me, is why I refuse to be denied. My mother told me, I shall not be denied. Because they created where we are right now for everyone, not just for us. They created for everyone. So I am relentless. You're not the boss.
And an inspiration. Yeah.
Thank you.
I also was very blessed to see your mother's work exhibited. And so I just have a question I've been wanting to ask you. Do you feel like the materials that you use speak to you?
Do I feel like the
materials that you use speak to you?
Yeah. And that gets a little scary because people think, oh, things are talking to her in the studio.
But yeah.
But there is something very mesmerizing about having a relationship with a material that you can help change, evolve into something else, and also know that the materials that I use are ancient. So the beadwork techniques that I use are ancient. And when you look at a mummy, they usually have on a necklace or some kind of bead or adornment. So I'm connected with something that is endless, that had no beginning that we know of. We don't know the beginning, and I don't see an end for it. That's pretty amazing. And to know that people everywhere. This is a conversation that I can have with anyone. When I say my mom gave me a passport, I can go anywhere. There's somebody who sews, is wearing something that was sewn, who understands the needle and thread. That's an amazing gift to be given. Or I could just, I could be in my house looking fabulous. Or I can take this power, because it's power that I was given, and share it. And I have through teaching. I know you're like, teacher, her. Teaching adults. And, all of those things, it's an amazing power. And I think sitting here like that is the wrong thing to do. It was wrong. I changed it immediately.
Yes.
She said, yes.
Thank you. I'm afraid about the next question, so I'm gonna. Okay, Joyce, what was your experience like working with Sean?
You studied, you became who you are through hard work. And these are some of the stereotypes that don't always happen for Black people. It's like, oh, he found a camera on the side of the road when he was coming home from Bethlehem Steel. I hope that better not be your story. And and he made a wonderful picture. Well, no, you went to school. You did what everybody else did, and I celebrate them for that. I wasn't paid a great deal of money, which I think I should talk to them about. And I only requested a wardrobe, salary. I got nothing. Bupkis.
For the
But,
full feature-length
aside
film.
from that, they were fabulous. And they smell good, too. The worst thing is to be around stinking people. They smelled great. Not so much you.
So they're
but
telling me
the
that
others.
they're telling me that we have 5 minutes, which makes me sad, I think. But we can just keep talking. Sean, no, you founded the Black River Film Project. So can you tell me a little bit about that for those that don't know? And then just why is it important for you to document and zoom in on Black Baltimore residents?
That's a great question.
Thank you.
So, I came I came I came to the Afro American newspaper back in 1989, and Jill Carter spoke to it earlier today. Jill was I just came back from Los Angeles, and I was at the Walters Art Gallery. It was called the Walters Art Gallery then, and it was Kwesi Mfume's Christmas party, and Jill was there, and she walked up to me and was like, hey, she just introduced herself. And we started talking. She said, well, what do you do? I said, well, I'm a writer. And she said, oh, well, you should go down to the Afro newspaper and tell Bob Matthews to give you my job because I'm quitting. And that's how I started in journalism. And so between the Afro, between my mentor and dear friend of Billy Murphy, Larry Gibson, I've been given the keys to the history of this vanguard community. And I take that shit seriously, very seriously. And I would do anything to put that story forward to a point where more people understood who these people were. I think that some of the young people who live on Dolphin Street or on Pennsylvania Avenue or Druid Hill Avenue, if they understood the ancestors that walked those grounds before them, I think they would act differently. I think that they would I think the world would be a better place, a different place to them. And so that's what the Black River Film Project is all about. Yeah.
Joyce, what did it feel like was that the first time you saw it on a big screen?
Yes.
How did that feel?
Well, I was talking so much trash, I did kind of think like, oh man, did they really put that in? And then I was very happy about it because, well, it's always warm and cuddly knowing that those people that you respect and that the environment that you live in wants to swaddle you and be warm and cuddly to you. I mean, we live in this technological age where that's what people do. You know, you're on everything. And the fact that they would make a quality production with me in it is something. And that I am with Jill Scott and the leaders of Beautiful Struggle and with Sir William is there, you know. I mean, you know, it's a warm and elevating feeling. I'm talking about you.
Yeah, Mr. Murphy. Yeah.
Sir William Murphy.
How collaborative was the experience? And the reason I ask is because one of the most striking things about it was that I feel was a privilege to see was seeing you make on screen. I've seen your work a lot of places, and it just was to see you on this, not a micro level, but to see you start something in your home. And then in my mind, I'm like, I know this is at the Seattle Art Museum right now. Is it like just seeing that manifestation was incredible. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Like that blew me away. So did you decide to do that, or?
We had started the process. We had interviewed some of Joyce's friends and colleagues. Kevin, we were in Kevin's restaurant. So we interviewed Kevin, we interviewed Tamara Payne, we interviewed S.B. Frazier, and once we got to finish that process, Shannon and Andre and I were talking, and I said, man, we got to get in her crib. And that's how it began. And I just got on the phone. I told Shannon, I said, man, call Joyce. Shannon's my producer. I said, call Joyce, and I was ready to beg, and I would have did whatever I had to do to get inside your crib. You know?
Were you gonna pay her? Pay her?
So,
How much money?
Now he tells me.
but that's what happened.
But let me also say that, you know, when they said, would you do on the dolly? I was like, sure.
Oh yes, the dolly.
Because I trusted them, not implicitly, but in the arena, in the vicinity of implicitly. But I really trusted that they were doing a wonderful job. And every time I said, let me see the picture, I look good, you know, so I was not that upset. And it's a thing where if you do this a lot, you know that there are also people who are not thinking about you when they're working, but I never felt that. I thought they were really thinking about what I wanted. If I'd only known about what he just said earlier.
It's for the next movie. Sorry.
Man,
Well, I just want to say thank you. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
This is a blessing.
Thank you.
And I hope to talk with you again.